my question I have is, see, in an environment, so there will be different types of devices that will be monitored, right? Example, network, Linux, Windows, or
Correct.
PDUs, UCS, whatever it is.
Yeah.
How do I collect this information? Point number one. And the
So,
point number two is,
mm,
in each network device, list of interfaces we are monitoring, what we are monitoring in one particular network device, and so what metrics are we are alerting. So this one currently I have the requirements to see it. Before you continue with your current session, will you be able to just help me on that?
yeah. So first thing, to get list of inventory, we need to pull it in CMDB from CMDB only.
Yeah,
Okay.
can you please come again on this point?
To pull out the list of inventory, whether how many number of devices we have, what are all the devices, what are their IP address, we need to pull the inventory from CMDB.
CMDB. Um,
Okay.
so you mean CMDB means it's an external tool?
No, basically, what are you using?
What
Yes,
are you?
service now or IT for ticketing. What tool are you using?
Service now.
Okay, ServiceNow will have a CMDB. CMDB in the sense configuration management database. That means
Hmm.
all the equipments, all the servers will be in the CMDB in the ServiceNow. ServiceNow has a feature called Discovery that gonna discover the network and find out all the details. Or that is a task of your ServiceNow engineer as well to update the inventory or to build a CMDB for the organization.
Hmm. Okay.
Okay,
So
so
they will
definitely
have that information.
they will have that information. If they says that that is not possible or that is incomplete or that is, then what you can do is you can collect all the subnets from each sites. Someone should give you from the hierarchy within your organization, can be network guys, server guys, VMware guys, all those people can give you that information, list of subnets, and start discovering the jobs. I mean, even to discover that, you need a SNMP to be enabled. So that's why CMDB is the best source of truth for you to pull the list of devices and pass it over to
How
the
do we?
respective team. Yeah,
So how do we import the information which is there in CMDB into the SolarWinds?
no, no, you cannot import. First thing is you need to prepare. You need to ask them to provide the complete list.
Okay.
They will give you the IP in that CMDB. You'll have almost all the information: IP address, host name, and what vendor is it.
Hmm.
Accordingly, who is the application owner, who is the point of contact. All that information will be there in CMDB. You
Okay.
have to segregate all those
I
into
need
an
to.
Excel
Uh-huh.
and then distribute or divide those based on vendor. Let's say
Okay.
you might hardly have 10 to 20 vendors
Mhm.
and distribute them according to your vendors and then send 10 sheets to your 10 point of contacts that you get from CMDB or from higher sources of your management level. Ask them to enable SNMP and do the discovery scanning.
Okay. So we need to collect the information from the CMDB, and then we have to add them manually using Discovery in the SolarWinds.
Yeah, that's not a manual process. Again, I think the 10 or 15 vendors which you figure out can be easily
Uh-huh.
completed within a day if the
So
SNMP is enabled.
using the so okay, okay. If the SNMP is enabled, so using the discovery method, we will just try to add. based on the network
Yeah,
subnet.
correct.
Okay.
So that's how
Okay.
SolarWinds has to be implemented as well.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, coming back to this one. So I told like how do I identify the apart from Linux and Windows? So is this the way to change it? Know it? The one which you're sharing it here.
Uh, the one, so basically, I'm showing you the different vendors that are added in the demo.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
mm, so these are all the nodes that are added in demo where SolarWinds, and I have grouped it by vendor. So
Okay.
see, I have VMware, Windows,
Hmm.
Viptela, Cisco devices, Dell, all this, Dell
Okay.
switches.
So all these are considered as nodes. So
Correct. In
can we go to
SolarWinds
the
language. In SolarWinds language, it is considered as node.
okay. So now can we okay, it's under show nodes. What are the options we have? Other options we have? Just see.
Show nodes and show interfaces.
Okay, show nodes and
Interfaces. Node that added. Uh,
mhm.
these are all the interfaces, right? These interfaces will be displayed. That's it. Instead of node names, these interfaces will be displayed.
What are the means these are the nodes, right? Where the
Yeah,
interface?
these ones. I expanded this, right? If you see here, I expanded this
Okay,
DEM269
okay,
and
okay. So
underneath,
under that device, these are the interfaces.
correct.
Okay, okay. Under each device, we need to if you select it, it will show the interfaces.
Yeah.
Okay. Interfaces, list of network devices. Okay. So is it possible to filter only the network devices?
I mean, there are two ways to do so. One, if you know the vendors who are responsible for the network devices,
Okay.
Cisco, F5, you can do
Hmm.
that. Or else,
Okay.
the other way that you can do is you can create a custom property called category or
Hmm.
department and tag all this into uh, a field, assign all these 60 nodes and this one node, everything into as network, and then
Okay.
you can have an option called department here. You will get an option called department here.
Mhm.
That way you
Can
can.
we okay? Can we export this data? So once you see this data,
Yeah, you can do that. You can pull
how
out
do
as a report as well. See, first thing, I'll show you here.
I? Okay.
We'll come to the reports part later.
Mhm.
I want to export 66 code devices. I'll select this, and then in the more actions, yeah, here the option is disabled to export, but if you click on this, export custom property values along with the node name, it will ask you to, it will export all those details.
Is it? So okay. So I thought
Yes, if you
that
go
option.
to, yeah,
I thought that option is only if there are custom properties available. Only those devices will be able to download.
yeah, in the next page, what it will come is along with the custom properties, you ask for the default fields as well, name, IP. You select those and export.
Okay. Okay. Fine. I'll do that. Yeah, I'll try this. Yeah, you can continue with your plan.
Yeah. So today we'll look at groups and dependencies. So yesterday, before diving into groups, we'll look what dependencies is. Okay, and then we'll go to groups. Dependencies are nothing but, let's say, in a site we have a router switch, and then let's say we have a site called Plano. You only have one device. Okay, fine. Let's assume. Assume we have a site called Denmark, and these are our all devices within Denmark. Okay. Let's
Mhm.
assume this one is a router, and these is a firewall. These three are firewalls, and we have switches. Okay.
Are you moving your cursor?
Yeah, yeah, I'm moving the cursor. I'm just
But
selecting the node.
no, no, no. I think okay.
Can
It is
you?
too slow.
Okay.
And now you selected the den.
Yeah. So let me go over here. Let's assume we have a site called.
Somewhere you're typing. I'm not able to see. Ah, yeah. Now I'm able to see. Okay,
Okay.
okay. I think it is. There is some delay.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Let's assume we have a
Till
site
now,
called.
we have a site called Hyderabad, and here we have
Okay.
one router, one firewall, two switches, and then 10 servers. Okay. So firstly, from ISP, firstly from ISP, we are getting the internet connection to router.
Okay.
So this is how generally everyone will configure. Yeah. And from here, I mean from the again we'll have the LAN cables here, and from the again the LAN cables, we will one port of the LAN cable to another firewall interface. Okay.
Mhm.
Similarly, firewall port 1 is connected to switch 1, and port 2 is connected to switch 2. And
Mhm.
from there, switch 1 is connected to more number of servers, switch 2 is connected to more some number of servers. So now let's say from the internet service provider, there is some connection issue.
Mhm.
There is some connection broken. That means our internet connection is will not work, right?
Yes.
But in SolarWinds, we will add this router, firewall, both switches, and these 10 servers. Correct?
Okay. Yes.
Now, you have added all these 14 devices into SolarWinds, and you have created an alert saying node status is equal to down. That will
Mhm.
fire on all 10, all 13 devices, all 13 nodes basically, right?
13, 14 here. Here you
Yeah,
say
all
14.
14. Yeah,
Okay.
all 14 nodes, right?
Yes.
Node
Yes.
down alert will trigger on all 14 nodes if you have selected a condition called node status equal to down.
Okay.
Now, let's say you know that it's an issue from the ISP and no internet is coming.
Mhm.
In this case, If you create dependencies in SolarWinds, let's say router as primary and firewall as child,
Mhm.
your alerting will only trigger if a router goes down, it will not trigger on firewall.
Okay.
Okay. Let's say your router is up and running fine and some connection is broken with and some connection is broken on firewall. Your firewall is down now,
Mhm.
but your router is up and running.
Mhm.
So what you have to do again, you have to create a dependency as firewall as parent, switch one, switch two as dependencies.
Mhm.
That way, your firewall go if your firewall goes down, these two are suppressed.
Mhm.
That is the concept of
Dependency.
dependencies in SolarWinds.
So is it to prevent the alerts or
Yeah. To prevent the alerts and also just to know okay what are how is our landscape within Hyderabad site. First main priority is to prevent the alerts.
Mhm.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, this is what dependencies. To create these dependencies, we create something called groups in SolarWinds.
Okay.
There are two main criterias. One is for creating dependencies. Second one is for just to identify what are all groups we have, what are all the different types of things we have under one group. So for those purpose, mainly I use dependencies groups for creating dependencies only, because there are many ways that I can apply groups. I can use custom properties itself to create groups. Yeah, but the main purpose is to create dependencies. We'll see how to create a group and then how to. Yes, so I was just struggling. Aman, let me try to use our RDP session. So you're not using, right?
No, Chandra, I'm not using. So basically, you are using completely. I'm not using it even after the class. Also, I'm not using it because I
Okay.
am trying to picking up on the local one.
What is the password?
I think you're not sharing the screen. Maybe some only
Once I
some
connect,
portion
I'll
is
do.
shared.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to connect. I'll just share it once and we are back. I'm getting a very weird message, Rama. SolarWinds itself is uninstalled in our machine. 83, 82. Can you see the window screen?
No, Chandra, only the Orion. Yeah, now I'm able to see Windows one.
See, this is how it's telling. So you installed SolarWinds, right?
Yeah, that day only I installed, but later I did not log in at all. Since you are using it, right? So later,
No, no, no. I was not using. I was only on that day, I think. Let's see. Okay, fine, no problem. We'll look at our console itself only. I think there is something wrong with that VM.
so whatever you are seeing here, this is being accessed from that machine only, right?
No, this one is from my local laptop that I
Okay,
have
local.
logged off. It was saying something called no SolarWinds over there, and I see a very weird message.
Okay.
So when I go to settings and all settings, I see something called manage groups here. I'll just click
Mhm.
on manage groups. So yeah, now as per this diagram, we'll just try to create groups. So group for Hyderabad router, Hyderabad firewall, and Hyderabad switches and Hyderabad servers. Okay. How I'll just create add new group. I'll just give the group name as HYD underscore routers and then provide some description and click next. Here there are two options. One is to select the nodes select the nodes and add it to the group. That is one way. If you follow this process, every time you add a new node from Hyderabad site, a new router, you have to come here and manually select all those. Manually again edit this group and do that, which I generally don't prefer. So what I'll do is I'll add a dynamic query. Okay, what is dynamic query means? I'll just show you. So you can define a condition with your custom property. Let's say device type is equal to router and site is equal to Hyderabad.
Mhm.
Okay, that way, every time you update your custom properties, automatically this group will pick up that. It is too slow, and I have installed Splunk as well. I was working on some security part over there, so that's why my laptop has become too much slow. Task manager. I have a Splunk service that is running. Let me stop that. That will make it. Okay. Let's go to, yeah. Now it's far better. You can see my
Yes.
screen, right? Yeah. I'm navigating manage nodes page now. I'll click on add new group. I'll create the new group name as HYD underscore router, and then click next. Here I'll just click on add dynamic query. Why is it still okay? Here I can give some name like HYD routers. You can give it any name, and in the add condition, I'll just make it as device type is equal to router, and we if you just filter everything with site or city is equal to, in our case I'll just use Bangalore. That's yeah. Let's assume Hyderabad only. And then you can preview to view all the devices that gonna match this condition, and then save it. Clear? Any questions with this dynamic query? Dynamic query
No.
is nothing. We are just using our custom properties to use it, so that way whenever while adding a node, if you update the custom properties properly, it will this group will automatically build based on the settings. Okay, and I have just created a, and then create group. That's it. Now we have a group called routers. What is our next thing? We have a group called firewall. We'll just create a group in the same way, add new group. We'll keep it as firewalls, and then add a dynamic query. Here the dynamic query will just give it like device type is equal to firewall, and then Just add a condition. Yes, you can give it anything. City name equal to Hyderabad, and then save, and then create group. Let's create a third group, which is called HYD underscore switches. Add a dynamic query. Just add a condition again. City is equal to HYD. Device type is equal to switches. Then save it. Create group. Okay. Now we have three groups. We'll see how to create dependencies. Okay. If you go to settings and all settings, you'll see something manage dependencies. Click on that manage dependencies, and here add new dependency, and you have two options here to create the dependency based on your name. If you here you can select these as parent and these as child, but this is not how we generally do it in a real world. Will you have two routers, one is primary and one if primary goes down, so at that time you have to create groups. So I'll change it to groups, and then select routers as primary and click next, and here you have to select the child one. I'll again select groups, sorry, I'll again select groups, and here I'll select for routers firewall is the child, and then next. And if you see here, when the parent goes down, the status of the dependent objects are unreachable instead of down or unknown. Any alerts where the trigger condition include node status equal to down are not triggered. When you select this option, when the primary, the devices in the primary group goes down, the devices in the child groups will automatically go into unknown. And when the status in the alert is down, the alerts will not be triggered. Okay. There is also another option for some customers who they really doesn't want these kind of things, because they want to know what are all the devices that went down. In that case, you can select the second option, which means the status of dependent child object is not affected by parent one. Okay, here in our case, both routers and firewalls both will be alerted.
Okay. So apart from alerting, is there any other reason which we can make use of this one?
Yeah, for grouping, like let's say uh, in your dashboard, if you want to group all these things, let's assume this is our dashboard, HCO dashboard, and you see all the groups here:
Yes.
Windows servers, Office 365 servers, MPLS circuits, London branch devices.
Yes.
These way also can be useful. Linux servers.
If you click on this, what will show? What it will show?
I'll just expand Linux servers, so it should show all the servers. See here again, they have create subgroups. called CentOS, Red Hat, and in that we have all the servers which are CentOS.
Okay, but okay, yeah,
Okay.
yes, Chandra.
Okay. So and then submit this. See, Hyderabad routers dependency, a name, and then the parent is Hyderabad and child is firewalls. And the next thing that we have to create is in this firewalls and switches, right? Here, firewalls, you can click on add new dependency and click on groups, select firewall as parent here, again show only for groups, switches as child here, and then submit. See, this is how, and then what will be if switches as parent and your servers are child. That is how you have to create groups and dependencies in SolarWinds.
Yeah,
So you're clear with the groups and dependencies, right?
yeah. So yeah, I got it how we are creating it, and I understood the concept, but practical use case. So in this kind of scenario, we can use this one. So that one, I'm still. What kind of scenario? Maybe in your example, if you can in your setup, then for what reasons, for what use case you are making use of this feature?
Yeah. So like I explained here, uh, if a router goes down, the whole site goes down, and we will be ending up with 14 alerts
Correct.
and 14 incidents for one issue.
But only if we. Uh, okay. Okay. So once if we don't create this one, if router is down, uh, all other switches and everything will go down. It will it show it as down?
It will show us down only.
Is it?
Yeah, it will show us down only. If a router goes down, firewall switch, servers, all those will be as shown as down only in SolarWinds. If you create groups and if you while adding the dependency, if a routers goes down, firewalls will turn into gray color, unknown color.
Okay, I'll give an example. So let's say 10 servers are connected to one switch,
Okay.
and one switch is down now.
Yeah.
So what will be the status of these 10 servers?
We those also will be down. You'll not be able to connect to those servers. Those are officially down.
No, no, no. Uh,
Yeah, those 10
if,
servers are also down, right? So the servers are again connected to internet via switch.
mhm, correct,
Okay. If you are taking an RDP or SSH from here, that should be connected to the internet, right?
correct. Okay, let's
The
say I
switch.
have two switches. Let's
Yeah.
say I have two switches. So one switch, I mean, so every server is connected to two switches, and
Yeah.
once one switch is down, in that
Yeah.
case, what happens?
In that case, it will not go as down. So that is
Okay.
why you will be grouping two switches into one group, two Hyderabad switches as one group,
Mhm,
and these group will those 10 will be alerted when both of the switches are down.
mhm. Is it like will it show us as a down or unknown, something
We,
like that?
I mean, if you don't have dependencies and if you don't have these settings, if you don't have these groups and if you don't have this setting, it will show as down.
Hmm.
Unknown will only be shown when you have a dependency created.
Okay.
Unknown will only have when you have a dependency. Other else, it will show as down.
Okay.
Got it?
Yeah, yeah, got it. So
Okay.
will it shows any map kind of thing, like a chart kind of thing?
No, no, no. I think it won't show.
Okay,
So
got it.
that's it with groups and dependencies. We will just look for another concept today called netpath, which is a which is part of within the npm itself. You can simply, if you in the my dashboards, if you go to network, you can see something called netpath services here. I'll just show you.
So whatever the features which we are discussing, all are part of NPM only, right?
Yeah, whatever topics that we are discussing now are all part of npm,
So NPM is full form is Network Performance
network
Monitor, right?
performance monitor.
But these servers and all will not be considered as a network, right? Any reason for that?
Those are as well network, right? Technically they are again connected to a network.
Correct.
So like I said, initially SolarWinds might be designed only for network monitoring. So that's
Okay.
why they, when they expanded, they have included everything to add into npm
Okay. Okay.
as an IP address. Yeah.
Mhm.
Next feature that we have in in npm is called netpath.
Okay.
What
And
is
one
the
more
user?
question. One
Yeah,
more question. Sorry, Chandra. So when we are adding a device, do we need to add device using IP address or the name? And
you
what
can.
happens if I add in different ways?
What first thing? If your SolarWinds server can
Hmm.
connect to the DNS server for the IP address resolution,
Hmm.
you can add it via hostname only. Also,
Okay.
if it is not resolving, then you add it via IP address.
Okay. So definitely we will be configuring a, means at any point of time, definitely the SolarWinds server will be having connectivity to the DNS server, right? There is no other way. We definitely
Yeah,
will do it. So in that case, will there be any
yeah.
difference in?
You can add it. Anything that hostname will resolve to an IP, this IP will resolve to a hostname.
Mhm.
You can add it both the ways.
Okay. So now when you go through when we are browsing through GUI, the GUI of this SolarWinds interface, there all the devices were shown using some names only, right? So does it mean that they have added that devices using the names only? Yeah.
No,
So
no, no.
here.
Even if you add a name also, it will poll the IP address. Even if you poll via IP address also, if you add via IP address, it will
Mhm.
poll the name also. See, this is the name, this is the IP address of this, and version IP version is IPv4, and polling method is SNMP. So it will
So
poll
do you?
both the things, IP address and name through
So,
SNMP.
so can I say like this? If I add a device using the IP address, it will automatically discover the name of that particular IP address.
Correct. It will automatically discover everything. I'll just show you whatever you are seeing in SolarWinds,
Hmm.
everything is automatically discovered. You see the node details page, node details tab here. So
Correct.
the polling address is if I add using polling address, the machine type is automatically discovered. The system name is automatically discovered. The description in the device is automatically discovered.
Okay. Okay. So
All this
so
information will
yeah,
be discovered
got it. Got it. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks.
through SNMP. Yeah. Yeah. So now let's look at the one more feature in SolarWinds called NetPath. So basically, NetPath is used for calculating the latency between two devices. Okay. If you
Hmm.
want to measure the latency between site A and site B, Hyderabad and Bangalore, then you can use this feature called NetPath.
Between
Okay.
sites and between devices also.
Between devices also.
Okay.
Okay. Use it for round trip latency calculation. It's not only one way.
Mhm.
You will get a round trip latency calculation. Okay.
Okay.
How do you create a net path in SolarWinds? You can access it from my dashboards, network, and then netpath services.
Mhm.
Okay. For creating a netpath service, you you need a probe and target. What is a probe? Probe is nothing but a Windows server where SolarWinds is installed will act as a probe for you.
Mhm.
Okay, a Windows server where SolarWinds is installed will act as a probe. SolarWinds agent will have a plugin installed by default, which is called NetPath Pro. Okay, where you can, I mean, even if you don't want it act as a probe, it will come by default. If you want, you can use it. If not, it will just use it for monitoring. Okay, got it, Raman.
Yeah. So I will just
Target is our IP or host or website. It can be anything. Target is. Okay, so probe is nothing but a Windows server where SolarWinds is installed, and from that Windows server, uh, we have to assign a target for that Windows server, so that way we can achieve this net path. Let's assume we have a site called Hyderabad and Bangalore, and you want to calculate the round trip measure latency for that. In Hyderabad, you can spin up a Windows server and install a SolarWinds agent. Now, this newly spinned up Windows server with SolarWinds agent is called Probe. In Bangalore, you can identify a device, whether it can be your router, your Windows server, or a web application hosted in your Bangalore site. You can identify anything. These two are required, and if you, I'll show you how to create a new NetPath service. I'll just click on create new NetPath service. After coming into my dashboard, network and netpath services, I'll just create new service. Here, I will just provide the details of our Bangalore server. Let's say we have a server. You can provide those server host name or IP address and port. Or let's say we have www.facebook.com a website hosting on our Bangalore site. I'll just provide those details. Bangalore site. And then probing interval in the sense how frequently do you want this net path calculation to be happen. For 10 minutes, let it be 10 minutes. And here you have to assign the probe. Probe is nothing but our server where it is assigned. Let's say in the New York office, we have installed a server and then create. That's it.
So while assigning the probe, so here you're saying that it is showing so many lists, right?
Yeah. So this means on all these servers there is network SolarWinds agent installed.
SolarWinds agent.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, so you SolarWinds agents. So usually we install one agent on Linux machines on Windows machines, right?
Correct.
Is that different from this one?
No, that's what I told you, right? Probe is nothing but a Windows server where SolarWinds agent is installed. That
So
will
so
act
that
as a probe for you.
okay, so that can be a Linux machine also, right?
No,
Maybe
only a
Windows
Windows
machine,
server.
only Windows, huh?
Only Windows server.
Okay. Oh, that is a dedicated machine for this only.
Yeah, I mean you'll have some already spinned up Windows servers, right, in your environment.
Hmm.
At least for Active Directory or for something on that server you can
Correct.
install in your site.
Okay. So then one after installing that agent on that machine, so we will be checking the latency from that machine to the whatever the machine the other end,
Target
right?
machine, correct.
So is it not possible to it means is it not possible to do it between any two Linux machines?
Between two Linux machines, no, because target can be your Linux machine in the other side, but
Okay.
for this, you have to. I mean, there is a Windows plugin only that has a NetPath Pro plugin, NetPath Pro plugin. Only SolarWinds Windows Agent has NetPath Pro plugin.
Okay. Only on Windows it will work.
Only on Windows. See, let's say now, let's see the service that is created here.
Hmm.
So they are trying to uh, check the latency on this Azure site, on this Azure website. Okay, and from there, from these two sites, from East Data Center and NOC, these two devices. So yeah, these two are probes here. So they might have installed SolarWinds agent on these two, and they are acting as a probe. And from these two, they are checking the latency. If you open any of the thing, you'll see more details here. Like from that NOC, from this device, the internet is happening from to the west device, and from their WAN, and in between there are three IP addresses which are known. Maybe these are outside the connection between our centers and Azure, and finally it is reaching Azure Web here. And what is the total time taking here is 45 milliseconds for the entire round trip. Okay.
Okay. So that means so though we have created this what do you call this something net path for two devices, it is automatically discovering the devices which are in between.
Yeah, it will discover like trace route. If you are familiar with trace route, it will
Okay.
automatically discover to which and all devices the traffic is leaving, and uh, basically to reach this endpoint, what are all the devices in the middle, and how much latency are we getting in between, in middle between any of the two devices.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is with respect to the net path. It's a very small concept, but will be useful if someone comes to you and ask for, hey, I need to check the latency
Hmm.
continuously for every 15 minutes or 1 hour between these two sites and want an alert on it. Then you can suggest, you can create a netpath service and alert on it. How do we alert on it? That we'll look into it tomorrow. How do we alert on netpath service? We'll look into it tomorrow.
Yeah. So one question on this. So now, okay. So I got the request to configure this one. Okay. Now I know the steps how to do it, but the source path where we need to install this Windows plugin.
Yeah.
So how do I select that one, or how do I create one, new
Yeah.
Windows machine?
Yeah, basically you have to explain the requirement and ask them, do we have any Windows servers over there? I can install SolarWinds agent
Okay.
on the
So
source machine. If you I have to find out a Windows machine and then install SolarWinds agent. That's it.
okay. So after installing the agent, I need to add that machine into the SolarWinds.
Yes, I mean if you install the SolarWinds agent, It will be automatically assigned to SolarWinds. You need not to worry about it. In the settings, manage agents, you should be able to see that node. In the manage agents, you should be able to see all the nodes that are
Okay.
connected to that where SolarWinds agent is installed.
Okay. So by automatically it will come. So because add agent means we will be installing using this help only, right?
Correct.
Okay, got it. I got it. Got it.
And if you see NOC, let's search for this node. So, okay. See, on this Windows server, we have a plugin called NetPath installed. Okay, so
Mhm.
this plugin will automatically be configured installed by SolarWinds to act as a NetPath probe. When you install SolarWinds, it will automatically have the NetPath plugin.
The agent will have the NetPath plugin.
NetPath plugin. The agent software itself will have the plugin that will
Okay.
be prompted for you. It will be prompted for you in the probe dropdown while creating a NetPath service.